doing when we were talking about obligation and prohibition. So remember, when we say that we have to, we must, we should, we shouldn't, we'll just talk about that. So if you have a look at number C again, this isn't necessary. When something isn't necessary, this is what you missed before when you just came in. So when something isn't necessary, we use, as you could see, one moment, I'll put my notes. When something isn't necessary, we say should. You don't have to. So, for example, you don't have to write with a pen. You can use a pencil. Or you don't have to bring anything to the party. If there's a party and I tell you, you don't have to bring anything, there will be food. So that's showing that it isn't necessary. It's not important. That's what necessary means. It's not important. Or if I say something like, you don't have to dress up to the party. It's very casual. Okay. Or if there's a birthday party and I say, you don't have to bring a present. Just bring yourself. Some people will say, what do you want me to bring? You say nothing, just bring yourself. That's very common in English. Or if there's a test for your exams and I say, you don't have to worry, right? Just that very simple, you don't have to worry. It's an easy test. That's showing it's not important. It's not necessary. So we use don't for the subject, I don't, you don't, we don't, they don't, but doesn't for he, she, it. So if you're talking about someone else, she doesn't have to come. It's not important. Maybe you have an appointment and you're asking, do I have to bring someone to the appointment? They say, no, she doesn't have to come or he doesn't have to come. So that's how we use don't have to. When we say something isn't necessary, it isn't important. Then we have don't do this. It isn't allowed or permitted. We use must when we want to show someone, like you must do something, right? It's a very strong word, like showing you must do your homework, okay? You must pass your exam. You must, speak English in Australia, right? If you want to be able to speak to people, you must learn English. So that's showing that when don't do this is just in the opposite. So if I have to say you mustn't do something. For our example, they mustn't give their phones to anyone. You mustn't sounds very formal. So instead, we kind of use you shouldn't, which is another way to say don't do this. You shouldn't, use your phone in class. You shouldn't use bad language. You shouldn't, do something bad. So when you want to show it's not allowed, it's not permitted, don't do something, say shouldn't. He shouldn't. We shouldn't. If you're talking about other people, they shouldn't do something. Then we did it's necessary, number C, or compulsory to do this. So imagine like you're at the airport. When something is necessary or compulsory, again, you're going to be using that must or have to. So for example, you can imagine at the airport, they'll say you must go through security. You must take off your shoes. Sometimes, when you go through security, you have to take off your shoes, or you must take out your laptop from your bag. So again, showing it's necessary, it's compulsory, very important. You must sign in when you come to class, or people will say you must tell the truth. You must be a good person. You must, okay? It means it's necessary, very important. Then we looked at it's a good idea. Now, if I just want to tell you what I think is a good idea, I'm going to use should. So it's like giving advice. You should do some more exercise. You should eat healthy. You should come out with us this weekend. You should meet more people. You should, you should do something. So if I think that something is good and I want to tell you about it, I'm going to say should. Okay, it's a way to give someone your ideas. What do you think, are good ideas? We then looked at saying, how about if we want to tell people it's a bad idea, like don't do it, it's a bad idea. Then we use the negative shouldn't, right? Like you shouldn't, stay out late at night. It's very dangerous. Or you shouldn't eat too many sweets. You shouldn't speak to strangers, be careful, you shouldn't. That means that it's a bad idea, and you're telling someone to be careful. It's a bad idea. Okay, so then I wanted to look at your phone stories. So I wanted you to tell me about your phone stories, and I was going to look at what you wrote. So with your phone stories, let's have a look. I use Vodafone network. So I'm going to correct your English with what you say. So I use Vodafone network. I'm so impressed with their service. Good. So I use the Vodafone network. I'm really impressed. Maybe I'm really impressed with their services. Their 5G network coverage with high-speed mobile access and the pricing. Yeah, their 5G coverage with high-speed mobile access and their pricing and the pricing of their prepaid and postpaid planning, I would say plans, offer very good value for money, especially for someone like me who requires large data. We say who requires a lot of data, just a bit more casual. So if you say, I need a lot of data. So this was for number 1, I think it was the first question, which asked about number 1. What was your phone network? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, for someone like me who requires a lot of data, SMSs, and calls, including international ones, yeah, and calls, including international. In addition, Vodafone provides a plan option that allows customers to select a plan that best suits their needs and budget. So SMSs, this is good. So you can see I'm just doing the correction. So I would have said a lot of, just to make that language a bit more casual, for someone like me who requires a lot of data, SMS, and calls, including international ones.